Hello everyone and welcome to 2020 and the new edition of The Whiteout.
I'm Emily Sarsfield, GB Olympian, and this is Rob Stewart. This episode, we're going to be getting you up to date with all the latest ski news, the current snow conditions, because they are amazing out there at the moment. We've got an interview from one of British skiing's absolute ski legends, and our gear review is going to be taking you through everything you need to know about helmets. So Rob, what might we've missed over the busy Christmas period?
Yeah, there's been some really exciting news coming out of resorts. For example, right down in the south of Spain, Sierra Nevada, really close to the Mediterranean Sea. If approved, they're going to spend 180 million euros on a new project that will include 10 ski lifts and 700 hectares of new ski terrain, which is fantastic. And then over in Austria, the ski Welt, which is already a huge area, they're spending another 70 million euros on new ski lifts, which is going to expand the area even more. And then we've got some exciting new developments in North Korea as well. Amazingly, you wouldn't think that North Korea is a place where you could ski, but in fact, they've already got a few ski resorts there, and they're planning a fourth new resort in Yangon County. And then there's also a new flight route to Japan with Finnair. So cutting out a lot of time to get to the northern island of Hokkaido, with the ski resorts of Niseko, for example. Columbia Sportswear have just launched a new Star Wars Force edition of the Challenger jacket, which they've got two editions. They've got a dark side, or they've got a light side for those Jedis out there.
So it does seem to be a little bit of a running theme going with the whole ski movie thing. I was out in the Three Valleys and they have got this big Frozen 2 promo thing going on. There's like about 14 dedicated routes. There's cinemas up on the mountain, and there's loads of fun, like Frozen fun for the kids to do. You can get medals and all sorts.
Emily, we've also got some great eco news. There's a couple of really interesting developments happening. Over in Italy, a resort called Pejo, P-E-J-O. It's a very small resort, but it's in the beautiful Trentino region of the Italian Dolomites. And they've decided to go completely single plastic free for this winter. And then over in North America, the ski resort of Jackson Hole in Wyoming has gone 100% renewable wind energy. So they are completely carbon neutral in terms of what they do on the mountain to run all their ski lifts and infrastructure.
I also heard that the Olympic venue sites of the 2022 Olympics out in Beijing, they're going 100% green energy as well for that Games. So we've both had some amazing skiing so far this winter, but let's head over to Megan and see what the snow conditions are like across the world.
Thanks, Emily. I know Christmas might seem like it's just a distant memory now, but it was one of the best Christmases we've had pretty much this century in terms of snowfall in the Alps. It was a very white Christmas. Some resorts had up to 1 metre of snowfall, which bodes very, very well for the rest of January. So if you are heading out there this January, piste conditions look set to be absolutely amazing. Off-piste, there might not be so much opportunity for you. Val Thorens in the Three Valleys is now posting the world's greatest snow depth. So it's got over 3 metres on the lower slopes and over 4 metres up high. So that is very impressive and very good news for anyone heading to the Three Valleys this January. Over in Canada and the USA, they have also had vastly improved conditions over the last few weeks thanks to a lot of snowfall, particularly in the east and the northwest coasts, where they had a really surprisingly warm start to the season, so conditions weren't great. Really big snowfalls recently have definitely changed all that, and it's looking very good over there. The Rockies have had a lot of snow leading up to December and remain very snowy throughout December and January so far. So again, all is looking really good across the pond. Even over in Eastern Europe, which, I mean, Borovets in Bulgaria was hardly open at Christmas because the temperatures they've been having are quite unseasonably warm. Even that now is almost fully open. So colder temperatures have meant that they're getting more snow, they're able to make more snow. And I mean, even there, you're going to be in for a treat with a holiday this January.
So it's time for this month's Gear Guide in association with Ellis Brigham, and this month we are talking about helmets. Tell us, Rob, if I'm buying my first helmet or if I just want to update the one I've got, what am I going to be looking for?
Well, Emily, you know, comfort is crucial. You're wearing the helmet all day and you want it to fit properly. And it's very simple to get the fit right. You need to measure your head around the circumference of your head from here with a tape measure or a piece of string and use a ruler, and then you can match that to the size of the helmet. And most manufacturers, they would use, you know, a sizing system like small, medium and large or extra large, but that centimetre size corresponds to those sizes. But, you know, best thing to do, get yourself down to that local Ellis Brigham store and try the helmet on, because you want to make sure it fits really well and it's really comfortable. I mean, this one here, this is actually a size large. You know, when you put it on your head, you instantly feel whether it's going to fit or not. This helmet here has what's called the BOA system adjustment on the back, which you can then either tighten or loosen depending on how snug you want the helmet. But it is important to have the helmet fitting nice and snugly. You know, if you shake your head around like that, the helmet shouldn't be moving around, right? You know, and also when you pull it up and down, you should feel that your eyebrows are almost being pulled up with it, but it shouldn't be too tight. You also see, like, another big feature on helmets is the ventilation system on the helmet itself. Some helmets have ventilation systems that you can open or close off, depending on the temperature and the weather. This one doesn't, but you know, as long as it's got some ventilation, that's really important. Lots of helmet manufacturers today are installing MIPS, which stands for Multi-Directional Impact Protection System, into their helmets. And MIPS is really interesting, and it's a proven technology that works inside the helmet, because if you do have, you know, the unlikely and unfortunate event of an impact with your head, the helmet itself protects your skull, and that's fine, and that's what it's there to do. And if you have an impact, your brain can move quite quickly, and that can cause problems. But what the MIPS does is it severely reduces the movement inside the skull of the brain by mimicking the movement of the brain inside the helmet. And it tends to be on the higher end helmets, and they tend to cost a little bit more if they've got the MIPS system in them.
You're getting that extra safety protection.
Proven safety protection from MIPS. So this one here, this Scott helmet, does have the MIPS system installed in it already. So you can see that with a little MIPS sign there. So, you know, get down to the local Ellis Brigham store. Crucially, try the helmet. Bring your goggles, or buy some goggles if you haven't got them, but bring your goggles with you when you're trying the helmet on in the store, and that is the perfect way to make sure that you get the ideal fit for your head.
Now, some of you might be aware of the ski show Ski A&E, which was broadcast by the W Channel, and they're looking into the everyday life of the ski patrol and what happens on the mountains. So, Rob, obviously there is accidents out there and stuff, but give us a little bit of info.
We just thought we'd give you a bit of a guide on what to do in the event of an accident happening with one of your group or with your friends on piste. If someone falls over and you know that they're injured, the first priority is to make sure that everyone else is safe around you, and that you're safe as well, and that person isn't going to end up being more injured potentially than they already are, and also that people that are skiing down that piste or snowboarding down the piste know that there's an accident. So the simplest way to do that is to just get your skis and put them in a cross above the skier that's there.
Yeah, a good 5 meters or so it gives you nice space. Yeah,
you need to give some space, because obviously if someone does go into those skis, it could cause another accident.
You don't want that.
So that's really important, just to think clearly at that time, at that moment. And then, of course, calling the emergency services. You can do that in different ways. Obviously, most people now carry a mobile phone with them, so that's great. In France, the number is 112, but you know, always check the country that you're in at the time, because those numbers might be different.
And also on your piste map as well, there's the emergency service numbers on the back of it. On most piste maps there are there, yeah.
They're there, so check that number, put it into your phone, you know it's always there, emergency contact number. That's the best thing to do as soon as you get to the resort. Hopefully you won't you won't need to use it, but it's just there in case you do. It's very easy, it's very simple. The other thing to do if you don't have a phone, or maybe as a backup, is to send one of your group to the bottom of the nearest ski lift station and inform the ski patroller there or the lift person there that there has been an accident. Obviously make sure you know where that accident has been and taken place, so you can clearly tell them where it is on the slope. We need to keep people warm, we need to keep them comfortable, we need to keep them positive when they're lying there on the snow and they might get cold. So, you know, keeping them warm is really, really important.
Finally, but probably most importantly, before you actually even head off on your skis, is making sure that you've got some insurance.
And not just insurance, you know, make sure you've got the right insurance policy. Travel insurance policies are often, you know, they're very good policies, but they might not include skiing on them. So obviously make sure that those travel policies include specifically skiing. And then even from there, look at the small print. Some policies don't include off-piste skiing. Some policies might include off-piste skiing with a guide only. You know, other policies might include off-piste skiing without a guide.
So on our social media channel, we asked some of you if you'd had any first-hand experience on the mountains with accidents. And these are the comments what we got.
Yeah, we did. We got quite a few comments on Facebook. Sarah says, I was rescued in one of those sleds after being hit by another skier. Very weird being strapped in head first and taken down on skis. Ginny said, my dad was a pista. Incredible ski skills and strengths when you have to sledge down a guy over 100 kilograms in weight on an icy steep slope. And finally, Paula says, I'm going to watch it just as a reminder. She's talking about the TV program here. Watch it as a reminder not to drink too much wine whilst skiing.
Brilliant, but Paula actually does have a good point, because Megan, who does our snow report, was involved in some research by Direct Line Travel Insurance, and they found that 43% of people who'd been drinking are more likely to be involved in an accident on the slopes.
Okay, sounds like a good job for Megan there. She must have had fun in that research. But, you know, it's not surprising, and actually 3.8 million people have reported injuries after drinking alcohol on the slopes as well. Although most of them didn't have to have medical treatment after that, but 40% of them did.
But I think the biggest thing is making sure you ski to your ability. There's always a way to get down the mountain after après through the gondola or on the bus and stuff like that. So just being smart and enjoy the mountain.
So we're really lucky here in the UK to have a whole range of stores across the country, including national chains like Ellis Brigham, but also we've got some fantastic independent retailers as well. You know, we see all the retailers down at the ski test when we're there every year testing their product. These guys, they really know their stuff. They're passionate about the sport that they do. And our friends down at Snow Tracks, they pride themselves on the We Test, We Know hashtag, and you can check out some of the things that go on behind the scenes in this video.
Hi, I'm Rob from Snow Tracks. I'm the Retail Operations Manager. I also do the snowboard hard good buying for the store, and I get away and test a lot of skis as part of my job as well. Snow Tracks, we're an independent ski shop. We've been around for 30 years now. Started off really small at our dry slope, and yeah, that's grown, and now we're one of the largest UK independent stores out there. Being able to test the product is key for us, and all of our staff, they ask us questions, they go and test the product. It's really helpful that you know the person that you come into store has actually tested that and understands it, because ultimately you can't explain a ski unless you actually understand it. And what better way to understand it than to actually go and ride it? With going out on the test, it really gives us the chance to actually put the product through its paces, and until you actually go and test the product, work it out on changeable conditions. It's really understanding how the ski performs through those different conditions and what the benefits are for you as the consumer as well. So this whole We Test, We Know, yeah, it's an important drive for us to actually, yeah, like to pass on that knowledge and really to help consumers and yeah, like people find the ski that they're going to love. So if you like the sound of getting first-hand information from somebody that's actually skied the product, if you're close enough to us and want to pop in store, you can have a friendly chat. If you can't get down to us, not a problem. That's where we've got lots of accessible videos on our website. Or if you're stuck, just give us a call or an email. We're super friendly and always happy to talk about skis.
So we're only a couple of months into the 2019-2020 winter season, but we've already got some absolutely huge news for GB Snow Sports. And Gus Kenworthy, the American skiing legend who got the silver medal over in Pyeongchang, has switched alliance from Team USA to Team GB ahead of the 2022 Winter Olympics. You
know, as you say, absolute legend. And he's, you know, his mother's British, yeah, and he's decided for the Beijing Winter Olympic Games in 2022 that the GB Snow Sports gives him the best platform to compete in 3 events, potentially, which is the half-pipe, slopestyle and big air competitions that he's going for. So it is really, really great news for us.
Yeah, I mean, and that's great to hear that he feels that GB Snow Sports is going to give him that platform to perform at that Games. And we've already seen some great results at the back end of 2019. I mean, the freestyle team, the Atkins sisters, what have they been?
So Izzy Atkin, a fantastic bronze medal in the World Cup Big Air competition over in Atlanta. Yeah, and a younger sister, Zoe, who's only 16 years old, has had an incredible performance recently at Copper Mountain in the Half-Pipe World Cup, where she actually got a gold medal, placed first. So amazing.
Yeah, and we saw Katie Ormerod back after her big injury in Pyeongchang, and she got a 4th place in the big air, so that's a great start for her as well. What have we got going on in the Alpine Disc runs? I remember that Dave had an amazing start to the winter where he was second in that first run over in Levi, but unfortunately did not finish on the second run.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of his favourite courses and a real disappointment for Dave. And, we've come to expect big things from him, of course. But he went on to Val d'Isère, which is one of the toughest slalom courses on the circuit, and managed a respectable 17th place there. I'm sure he would have wanted to do a little bit better than that, but, we've come to expect so much. And then over in the night slalom in Zagreb, his first run, he was 24th place, which was probably pretty disappointing for Dave, but he pulled it back to 18th with a solid second run.
Also, the guys in the para disciplines, they're doing great. We saw that Millie Knight and Brett Wild were back, and I think they wrapped up with 7 medals over 8 comps over in the States when they were competing. And we saw James Barnes Miller in the para border cross take a silver medal, which he's never done before, so congrats to him as well. However, there was a little bit of bad news with James Woods.
Yeah, he's picked up an injury, in his knee, and he's going to struggle for the rest of the season, which is really tough for him. We might not see him competing. So we've seen some newcomers to the GB snow sports scene and some up-and-coming competitors as well, but we're also losing one of our favourites. Emily?
Yes, I've obviously recently announced my retirement. Been in ski cross for 15 years now, competing for Britain, and it's always been a kind of rollercoaster ride, but it's great to see some other Brits coming through and stuff. But unfortunately, the time has come. Now, when it comes to entertaining British skiers, there's no one more renowned than our next interviewee. His story was so incredible they even made a Hollywood movie out of it.
Eddie the Eagle Edwards. I mean, what an amazing character. And, I've just been lucky enough to spend a couple of days out with him in the Alps on a ski weekend's holiday. So, let's see what he had to say. Hey, Eddie, how you doing? You're right. What's your favourite place to ski? I'm sure you've been asked that 1,000 times.
Yes. It's very difficult because I'm just happy with my skis on. And even if there was just one ski slope open in the resort, I would be happy to ski there all week because I could ski that one run 1,000 different ways. So it would keep me busy all day, every day, just because I'm used to skiing at Gloucester Ski Centre, and I used to ski there all day, every day, 8 hours a day, and I was happy as Larry. So I don't need vast areas of skiing. I don't need, the most challenging runs. I don't need to go off piste. I'm just happy wherever I am, and whether that's in Bulgaria, whether that's here in Three Valleys, whether that's in America or Canada, I just love having skis on.
We watched the movie last night as well, and it's a great movie. If you haven't seen Eddie the Eagle, go and check it out because it's a fantastic film.
I love it. It makes me cry every time I watch it.
Oh, you could see, you must have, how many times have you seen that film? But
about 96 times.
You were glued to it for the 97th time last night.
I still love it.
It
still brings a tear to my eye, and they did it in such a great way. And they really captured the heart and spirit and essence of my story, and it's a really nice feel-good movie, and I still love it, and I encourage people to watch it and be inspired by it.
Last winter, I got the chance to visit the Swiss ski resort of Crans-Montana. It's located in the French-speaking part of Switzerland in the Rhone Valley, and it's situated on a high plateau 1,500 meters above sea level. I mean, obviously, in the Alps, the views are stunning anywhere you go, but Crans-Montana is a level above. And the reason for that is, obviously, the south-facing aspect of the mountain is great, but it looks straight towards Mont Blanc in the west. And there's a panorama that goes all the way through and across to the Matterhorn further in the east. It's great skiing for all levels. It's good for beginners. There's amazing nursery slopes and a really nice progression with blue runs and red runs. It's perfect for intermediates because there's tons of slopes, reds and blues, and some easy black runs as well, so you could tick some of those off. Some piece designed for ski racing. It's got a massive alpine ski racing heritage. And every winter, the Women's World Cup schedule comes to Crans-Montana, and they race in a downhill there. It's really well known as a family destination. Crans-Montana holds the family destination label, which is awarded by the Swiss Tourism Federation, and it's only one of 2 resorts in French-speaking Switzerland to hold such a badge. There's a golf course in Crans-Montana. The golf course is located obviously in the summer, although they do sometimes play in the winter as well. It's located on the flat plateau area of Crans-Montana itself. And in the winter, they turn that into a whole huge nursery slope area, mostly for kids. And then on the mountain, there's another nursery slope area, and then a really nice progression onto blue runs, and then red runs, and then from there as well. Last winter, they introduced a new concept in ski touring. They opened 15 marked and controlled ski touring trails that crisscross the whole mountain. The cool thing about this is that if you haven't tried ski touring before and you're sort of worried about maybe going off-piste or in the backcountry, you don't have to do that. Here in Crans-Montana, you can actually ski tour and then ski down on the ski runs afterwards. So you don't have to go off-piste at all. If you're a more experienced ski tourer, then you can go on the harder routes because they're marked blue, red and black. And you can take a black route all the way up to the top of the mountain. Then you could choose whether you ski off-piste or on-piste. It has quite a metropolitan feel. There's lots of shops, lots of designer gift shops and clothing shops, but also over 90 restaurants. And the amazing thing is here, obviously if you like your cheese and your fondues and raclette, you can get plenty of that. We're in Switzerland, but there's also lots of other choice as well. So you've got Asian restaurants and Italian restaurants and French restaurants. There's a huge range of cuisine, big range of hotels as well. There's a lot of high-end hotels in Crans-Montana. It is the kind of place if you want to go for a very special treat. There's plenty of five-star hotels to choose from, but there's also really good 4-star hotels and lots of 3-star hotels as well. There's also a really good hostel there too, which is a converted old building. It's really smart and really affordable accommodation. 2 hours from Geneva Airport, you can take the train. It's very easy. In fact, it's a really nice train journey because you go around Lake Geneva and then you just change in the little town of Sierre below the resort of Crans-Montana and you take a funicular railway for the last part of the journey. It's a really fun way to get there. You know, why go to Crans-Montana over other ski resorts in the Alps? Because there's plenty of choice. Well, for me, I mean, the views are spectacular. The choice of food and the things that you can do in town are great. You know, also after skiing, there's ice, there's a natural ice rink outside. There's lots of walking to be done there as well on the flat plateau. So for non-skiers, if you've got non-skiers in your group, it's a really good place to be. And also just the variety of the skiing there. Mostly south-facing slopes, so early on in the season, you'll get sunshine. Even if, you know, other ski resorts on the north-facing side don't get the sun, in Crans-Montana you will, even early on in the winter.
So we've nearly come to the end of another episode. I just want to share this video of you, Rob, because I know we're out in the mountains a lot, but I've never seen anything like this before.
Yeah, that's barely believable, Emily.
So if you're heading off to the mountains, please do have a fantastic time. And if you want to share anything, photos, thoughts, experiences, please do comment below.
Yeah, and all the stories we've been discussing today are available online at InTheSnow.com, so you can get more information there too.
We'll be back at the end of February, so keep your eyes peeled for the next episode.
Look forward to seeing you then.